Hello everyone, welcome back to SSBCrackExams. I am Lakshmi, Maths Mentor from SSBCrackExams, here to discuss the detailed solutions of questions that had appeared in Numerical Ability section of Afcat 2 2020 examination. Let me mention here very clearly that we are covering all the memory-based questions shared by our fellow aspirants on our social media platforms like Instagrams and YouTube community, and we are covering all those questions with their detailed solutions. And if you still face that we have missed any question which had appeared on 3rd of October in Afcat 2 2020 exam in Numerical Ability section, you can feel free to mention it in comment section. So let's begin with our session with the very first question. And this question, let me tell you, was totally based upon the formula that had discussed by me in my most formula based lecture series, that is finding of compound interest for quarterly calculation of compound interest. So we have been provided in the question the sum of 64,000, which is the principal amount, and we are asked to calculate the compound interest which is compounded quarterly, that is 4 times in a year, and the time period mentioned is 1 year at a rate of 10%. So you must remember that I had discussed the CI formula in my most important formula based lecture series, that when compound interest is calculated quarterly, then CI formula is P times 1 plus R upon 400 to the power 4n minus 1, wherein this n indicates the time period mentioned and this P indicates the amount deposited, and this R indicates the rate of interest, right? So with this formula, then let's answer to this particular question. So let's calculate this. So we have CI is equals to principal 64,000 multiplied by 1 plus R, that is 10% divided by 400 to the power 4 minus 1. Right, so this will be equals to 64,000 multiplied by 10 4 0, so 1 by 40. So by cross multiplication you will find that to be 41 by 40 to the power 4 minus 1. Right, so this is 64,000 multiplied by 41 to the power 4 minus 40 to the power 4 upon 40 to the power 4, isn't it? So we have on the next line then to take up, that is 64,000 multiplied by 41 to the power 4 minus 40 to the power 4 divided by 40 to the power 4, which I'll write to be 40 into 64,000, because you know 40 cube is 64,000, so that I can directly cancel off this 64,000, and numerator calculation 41 to the power 4, you get it around 2825761, okay. And this is minus with 40 to the power 4, which is 2560000, 4 times 0 divided by 40 we have. So the difference we're gonna get is around 265761, and this is divided by 40, which gives the final answer, that is 6644.025. And if you are interested, you know, you can calculate this answer by applying the identity over here, just by splitting off, you know, 41 square minus 40 square. So first of all, you can write that as 41 square plus 40 square multiplied by 41 square minus 40 square. And again, you can apply their identity, that is a square minus b square identity, that is a plus b into a minus b, to calculate the further. Or if you are interested, straightforward as I did, that calculate 41 to the power 4, note down the 40 to the power 4, because 4 to the power 4 is 256 multiplied by 10,000. Okay, so simple. So this will be, I feel, the easiest approach. So get the difference divided by 40, you can easily check. The compound interest amounts to 6644.025. All right, so let's come to the next question now, that had come on 3rd of October 2020 in Afcat 2 2020 examination in the numerical ability section. A car owner or a man. So some aspirants share this question as just mentioning by car or sometime by a man. And here they also mention that numerical may differ, but the pattern of the question was of this type, that a person buying petrol at rupees 8, rupees 9, rupees 11 per liters for 3 successive years. So this was the pattern of question. Might the language of the question vary. Initially made starts as a car owner or a man. Okay, so the person was buying petrol 8 rupees per liter, 9 rupees per liter and 11 rupees per liters for 3 successive years. So what approximately is the average cost per liters of the petrol if he spends rupees 4,000 each year? So this was the question formatted, that what is the average cost per liters of petrol if he is spending rupees 4,000 each year. Understand this question. 1 year spend 4,000. So for 3 years it has to be 12,000 rupees, isn't it? So let's solve this particular question. How we supposed to approach for such question? See, we have already the rate of petrol per liter. Okay, and we know that for 3 successive years the person is buying. So we first of all calculate the total quantity of petrol. The total quantity of petrol consumed by a man because he is buying, right? So total quantity of petrol that person is buying is equal to how much? 4,000 divided by 8 for first year, then 4,000 divided by 9 for the second year. He is also buying for third year, so 4,000 divided by 11, right? So this calculation you can do by taking out this 4,000 common. So we have 1 by 8 plus 1 by 9 plus 1 by 11 to simplify, right? So we have 4,000s multiplied by. The bracket calculation you can do and you can verify, that comes out to be 259 divided by the LCM, that is 8 into 9 into 11. Okay, so this we get the calculation part for the total quantity of petrol that person bought from first year till the third year. Alright, so we got the total quantity of petrol. Now we know that the cost for 1 year. So let us then calculate now total amount spent by him. So total amount spent by man will be how much for 3 years, right? So 3 into 4,000, total will be rupees 12,000, isn't it? And now we shall calculate the average cost, right? So average cost, we calculate this by, right? We shall calculate this by the cost, the total cost divided by the total amount of petrol he bought. So amount of petrol was 4,000 multiplied by 259 divided by 8 into 9 into 11, isn't it? So we can rewrite this as 12,000 multiplied by 8 into 9 into 11, and this is divided by 4,000 multiplied by 259. So you can easily do this calculation, this 4,001, 4,003, right? Then 3 into 8 into 9 into 11 you have to calculate, which comes out to be 2,376, and we shall divide this by the denominator 259 to have the final answer to this question, and that comes out to be around rupees 9.17. So you can check. I'm writing approximate because they had also asked us the approximate average cost per liter. So this is the approximate average cost we have calculated. Alright, now let's check the next question. In a library, 5% books are in English, 10% of the remaining are in Hindi, and 15% of the remaining are in Sanskrit. The remaining 11,628 books are in French. So the total number of books in the library are, is a question mark. So then let's solve this particular question. This is easy question based upon the algebra. You have to follow a pattern of calculation of finding remaining books because they started with the 5% of books in English. Okay, so we don't know how many books are there in the library. So let's assume them to be X number of books. So let total books in the library be certain X in number. Okay, so we assume this count so that it will be easier for us to formulate an equation and to get the value of X, which will be the unknown, the required answer to our question, that is in the library be X in count. So as per the very first statement in the question that 5% books are in English means how many are the English books? Let's list them down. So they will be 5% of X. So 5% means 5 by 100 part of x. So this is x by 20, isn't it? So we got English books 5%, so x by 20. Now they said 10% books are remaining books, but they are in Hindi. 10% of the remaining books are in Hindi. Means you have to know first of all the remaining books, right? So you have to note here once you calculate English books. So remaining books will be how many out of x now? X minus x by 20 you shall do, right? So they will be how many? 19x by 20, isn't it? Now they said that this 10% of this remaining, that is 19x by 20 is our Hindi books. Okay, so hence we shall write now about the Hindi books. So Hindi books are how many? See, Hindi books are 10% of, that is 10 by 100 part of this remaining, that is 19x by 20. So which comes out to be 19x by 200. So these are Hindi books. Okay, now again they said that the 15%, this 15% are the books which are Sanskrit, but they are of remaining books. So 15% of the remaining books are in Sanskrit. So we shall calculate that number now, right? So let's calculate that. So 15% of remaining. So remaining you shall first of all know the remaining books are how many, so that we calculate its 15% remaining books by now. Okay, so let me number here. See, we are done with the second. Now we are in the third, but we have to calculate for the Sanskrit book the remaining books how many. So remaining books by now, by second step, are x minus how many? They are x minus x by 20 minus 19x by 200. Okay, so they will be in all, you calculate this you gonna get 171x upon 200. Now they said that for the third step, the 15% of this remaining, that is 171x upon 200, are books in Sanskrit. Okay, so this you calculate, this number you gonna get, that is the 15% of 171x upon 200, you gonna get this number to be 513x upon 4000. So we got all the three step calculations. We got the English books, we got the Hindi books, we got the Sanskrit book, and now they said in the question that there are still remaining books, and how many they are? They are 11,628 which are remaining books. So now you shall note here, this 11,628 are what? They are remaining, means what are those remaining? X minus x by 20 minus 19 x by 200 minus, we have to subtract the Sanskrit books also, 513x upon 4000. So this was the question all about. You shall get this final step of calculation, that you shall get the total remaining books after the third step of calculation, that is calculation of Sanskrit books. So from total books you are subtracting the books of English, Hindi and Sanskrit. So now you are getting the remaining, which is equated to the required given number, 11,628. So you shall calculate this and get the answer. See, you're gonna get this particular simplification first of all as, let me tell you. Okay, so you will get this as 11,628 is equals to right hand side. You will get this as 2,907x upon 4,000. So by transposition you could see the value of x there. It will comes out to be 16,000 books. So in the library actually there were 16,000 books. So you can easily do this calculation, alright. So just you see, I'll give you a hint also. You have to make the LCM same. LCM is 4,000. So try to make that same. In the numerator you will easily get this number 2,907. Okay, so 2,907x divided by 4,000. So x you gonna get as this 11,628 multiplied by 4,000 divided by 2,907. So by doing that you gonna get your required answer, that is 16,000 books. So this was the answer to this particular question about library. Alright, now coming upon to the next question. The two poles casting shadow 12 meter and 14 meter respectively. If the height of one is 48 meter, what can be the possible height of second? Okay, so they asked us in terms of possibility. So we just check out one way of possibility, that what could be the answer based upon the proportion concepts. Okay, so here they have given us the two poles. There is a one pole which we don't know about its length, which we can also say it in terms of height. We don't know about the height, but we know the shadow length that it casting. So it is given to be 12 meters. Okay, and there is another pole which casting the shadow of length 14 meters, and they given us the height of one, that is 48 meters, the height of first pole, and they asked us about the second pole's height. So we shall calculate the height of the second pole, possible height, based upon the height of the first pole and its shadow and the shadow of the second. So if we go in the proportionality, that the height in proportion with the length of shadow, right? So we can check that h1 by the height, that is h1 by the shadow s1 has to be in proportion with h2 by the shadow s2, right? So accordingly that we can check the one of the possible height, that is 48 by 12 is equals to unknown question mark, that is h2 upon 14. So we can do cross multiplication here to get the answer h2, that is height of the second pole, right? So that comes out to be 48 into 14 upon 12. So 12 1, 12 4, and you know that 14 4s are 56. So height of the second pole, the one of possible height can be 56 meter. Okay, so hence the answer could be one possible height 56 meters. All right, let's come to the next question, which was very easy question on 3rd of October 2020 in Afcat 2020, based upon the simple concepts of the simplification of numbers. So we had a question wherein we provided 30% of 6500 to be divided by 26 to be divided by 25 to get the unknown for that particular expression. That is, the value of expression was the question. Let's write the statement of this expression in simplest form so that we can easily simplify and get the answer of this expression as soon as possible. So first of all, we write as it is 30% of 6500 then divided by 26 divided by 25 as 30 into 6500 upon 100. Why? Because this 30% of, the meaning of it, 30 by 100 part of 6500. So this has to get divided by 26. Okay, and this has to get divided by 25. So we know that division is nothing but multiplication by reciprocal. So we can rewrite this expression as 30 into 6500 upon 100 multiplied by 1 by 26 multiplied by 1 by 25, isn't it? Because division by 26 means multiplication by 1 by 26, and division by 25 means multiplication by 1 by 25. So it's simple to now then tackle this particular question. So this 100 0 cancel, and then we have the numbers now 30 into 65 divided by 26 into 25, out of which you could easily see that 65 and 26 are multiples of 13. So it's 13 2s are 13 5s are, and we have this 25. So 5 1 5 5, right? And we also have this 2 to divide this 30 as 15, and we have this 5 1 5 3. So final simplest answer is coming out to be 3. So value of this particular expression was what? Answer 3. I hope you understood this in a very simple manner. Now coming upon to the next question, and this question, let me recall, this question was totally based upon the formula that I had discussed in my most formula lecture based upon the profit and loss topic. There we covered the formula that when you know the CP of certain articles same as SP of certain articles, and they provide us the profit percent to calculate one of the unknowns. So let me recall the formula. The profit percent given by A minus B by B into 100. When you know that the CP of A articles is same as SP of B articles, and you are about to find the profit percent, but here profit percent is known. So of course that you shall find one of the unknown, either of A and B, and they had asked you in this particular exam to calculate B. So I had discussed the application of this formula, and if you had watched that lecture, you would have must appear for this question very easily with this particular formula. Okay, so I'll be employing this formula again here to make you understand the solution of this particular question. So here we note that value of A is 30 kgs. Okay, value of B is X kgs, which is unknown to calculate, and the profit percent is known to us. Some of the aspirants mentioned that the profit percent was 50%. Okay, and some mentioned that 20%. So I am calculating with 20%. If you are interested, you can similarly calculate it for 50%. Just numeric of the answer will change, but the method of calculation and solving will be same. So profit percent is equals to A minus B by B into 100 is the formula, right? Now we substitute the values, so we have profit percent, so 20 equals to 30 minus X upon X into 100. So I would like to take this on the next line. So 20 divided by 100 is equals to, can be written 30 minus X upon X, right? So this 21, 25, and by cross multiplication X is equals to 150 minus 5X, we could see. So that will become then 6X is equals to 150, that is X is equals to 6 2s are 12, then we have 30, so 6 5s are. So we could see that the value of X, that is unknown, is given as to be the value 25. So we calculated value of X 25 kgs. So the question was about the CP of 30 kg of rice is same as SP of X kg of wheat, and we are given that there is a profit for a shopkeeper to find the X, which is the unknown, that is the X kgs of wheat, which is the SP. Alright, so we obtain this answer 25 kgs. Alright, now discussing about this next question here, let me also mention, as mentioned earlier, this these all are memory based questions shared by our fellow aspirants, and here I would like to mention again that there maybe the name of the person vary, but the data values are same that had appeared in the question based upon the numerical ability concepts in the Afcat 2 2020 examination. Alright, so let's discuss the answer of this particular question, but let me read out the question to make you understand. First of all, there were two guns that were fired from same place. So some aspirants were mentioning that these guns might be fired by a same person or might be fired by two different persons, but they had an interval, time interval gap, that is of 15 minutes. Okay, they have fired at an interval of 15 minutes. A person approaching the place observes that 14 minutes 30 seconds have elapsed between the hearings of the sound of the two guns. Whoever in this question, he has observed that there is a elapse. 14 minutes 30 seconds have elapsed between the hearings of sound of the two guns. And now they given us the velocity of the sound, which is 330 meter per second, to move ahead with to calculate the speed of the man who was approaching and who heard that elapse of sound. Okay, so we have to find out the speed of man. So for this particular question, we shall first of all calculate the difference of time, because there is a difference of time, right? And based upon that, we carry forward to know the distance, right? And then we move ahead to calculate the speed of man. Might we get it in terms of meter per second, because you could notice that the initial times they mention in minutes and then minutes and seconds. So we shall convert this minutes into the second unit only, and so that we can use the speed 330 meter per second unit to have the calculation of distance in terms of meter. But when we go to calculate the speed of man, you will find that in meter per second you have to convert it into kilometer per hour to check your final correct option to your question. Alright, so let's go one step by step. As I told, we first of all talk about the difference of time. The difference of time. So what was that? Let's calculate this. So difference of time, you will calculate this as 15 minutes minus 14 minutes 30 seconds, isn't it? So 15 minutes means how many seconds? 15 into 60. So those will be total 900 seconds. 14 minutes means 14 into 60, you're gonna get 840 seconds plus 30 seconds. So total 870 seconds. So you get the difference to be 30 seconds, isn't it? You could see. So we got the difference of time, that is of 30 seconds. Now, we can calculate easily distance, distance covered by man with this hearing of, elapsed sound. That is, so we shall find out distance covered by man in what time? In the time, that is 14 minutes 30 seconds that he heard. Okay, he heard the firing. So this will be nothing but what? This will be nothing but the distance covered by sound, because at this particular moment of time the man has heard the gun firing, right? So distance covered by man in 14 minutes 30 seconds will be same as distance covered by sound in how many seconds? In about 30 seconds of difference. Okay, so hence we have this calculation to be 330, the speed multiplied by time, because what's the distance formula? It is speed into time. We know here we equated the distance covered by man will be same as distance covered by sound in the difference of time. Okay, that is of 30 seconds. So hence we are calculating, and this we are going to find to be 9900 meters. 9900 meters. So this is the distance covered by man. And now we shall calculate as per the question speed of man, right? So let's find then. So it's a distance 900 meters divided by time, that is 14 minutes 30 seconds time interval. So we know that calculation already, that is total, say 14 minutes we know 14 into 60, right, and plus 30. So 840 plus 30 we are going to have 870. So this is the answer we are getting in terms of meter per second. But question is demanding you find the speed of man in kilometer per hour. So hence I have taught you that when we want to convert the speed meter per second into kilometer per hour, we shall multiply it by 18 by 5. So 9900 divided by 870 should multiply by 18 by 5. And this calculation you can do yourself just by simplifying. So you can calculate the value of numerator, but more you can reduce it. So 51, right? So then we have 49. So 5 nines are 45, right? So we have there 40, 8s are, right? So you can check 198 into 18 product, and then you shall divide it by 87. So you can have this speed in terms of a kilometer per hour as around 40.9655 kmph reading. Okay, so based upon the options you can round off your answer and take up. So this was the question as per the memory based question put forth by our fellow aspirants. I am discussing the detailed solution. Let's now come on to the next question. A boy starts painting a fence. Second day, 2 boys join him. Third day, 3 more boys join them. And so on, this continues, and fence is painted in 20 days. This was the question provided by our fellow aspirants. And we shall here calculate how many days will be taken by 10 men to paint the whole fence if the efficiency of 1 man is equal to efficiency of 2 boys. So particularly is question about the calculation of days for 10 men to complete the task of fencing. Okay, so here we shall first of all note that how many are the total boys days, means boys are taking how many days exactly, we are unknown to this, because the process is like first day 1 boy is working, second day 2 boys have added in the work, third day 3 boys. So we shall calculate first of all here the number of boys days. So we shall note total number of boys days. Okay, so this we calculate by the series, because first day 1 boy, second day 1 plus 2, third day 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus so on. Okay, so on some unknown, let us say, because we don't know. So on unknown 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus so on plus nth day. So you would have must known to this fact that there is a formula to find the sum of such series terms. sum of the terms in such series, and that formula is n by 6 into n plus 1 into n plus 2. And now we noted in the question that fence is painted in 20 days. So we know that nth day where the boys join. So 20th day, 20 boys must have joined, and by that day the work has completed by all the total boys. So we are calculating the total boys days they taken to complete the task, and hence we shall here substitute what, n equal to 20 as per the data. Okay, and hence we shall here note the total number of boys days, that is by 20 divided by 6 multiplied by 21 into 22, which comes out to be 1540. You can easily check. So these are the days that total boys have taken. Okay, so here we could noted that the boys days, we noted boys days are in all 1540 actually. Okay, so now we shall note that one boy efficiency is half man efficiency as per the question. Man is double efficient than boy, means one boy, if you compare with one boy's efficiency equal to half man. So therefore, if the boys days are 1540, then main days you can easily note, right? So main days will be how many? Half of this, because the efficiency is double. Days will be half, right? So half of 1540 will be 770 main days, that is main taken to complete the task. But we want the task to be done by 10 main only, right? So therefore we shall calculate for 10 main. Okay, so number of days for 10 main. So number of days required by 10 main will be just the 770 divided by 10, right? So it will be simply 77 days. 77 days. So this was the answer for this particular memory based question. Alright, coming upon to the next question. P, Q and R, did they work together in 36 days? If all work for 4 days and P left after 4 days, in how many days rest work will be completed? This was the question shared by our fellow aspirants, that there were 3 persons mentioned, because some mentioned their name as PQR, some mentioned simply as 3 men. They did work together in 36 days. Okay, so 3 men completed work in 36 days, and they mentioned that they all work for 4 days, and after 4 days the person P left. So remaining work has to be done, then how many days it will take? So this was a the question frame. So we are only bothered about the number of days required to do the rest work. Here it is not specific in this question that who are doing. Okay, so remaining days required to do the rest work. So we'll calculate this first of all by noting the 1 day work by all 3 together. So 1 day work by the 3 person PQR, suppose if they are, then they will do the 1 day work will be 1 by 36th part, because as you noted in the question, there are 36 days they are taking together to complete the task. So in 1 day they will do 1 by 36th part of work, right? So this you know, and you know that they are working for how many days? 4 days. So we shall here write the 4 days work, then 4 days work by all 3 together, that is P, Q and R. 3 persons PQR will be 4 by 36, right? So it will be 1 by 9th part of work will be done. Now we asked about the left work. So left work, let us calculate, then it's very simple, it's just the difference, right? So we have 1 by 9 minus 1 by 36 to calculate, right? So this we calculate by 36 minus 9 by 9 into 36, that is equals to how much we comes around to be, this is 27 by 9 into 36, this 9193, 3132, so 1 by 12. So this is the left work. So 1 by 12th part of the work is left, means how many days it has to be the required days, right? The required days has to be 12 days, isn't it? Because the leftover work we obtain to be 1/12th part of the work. So hence it required days are 12 days to complete the rest work. Required days equals to 12 days. Alright. Now let's talk about the another question. And let me again here recall you that this was the question which were, similar question we had discussed in our most important formula based lecture series on the topic of average. There we had discussed that if you have two group of quantities with their respective averages, if you have say quantity M and quantity N with the average A and B, then the combined average, like here the question formulated, the average of the class, both the class together. So here they asked about X plus Y. Okay, so average of both the class X plus Y we find by the formula that we had discussed, that is MA plus NB upon M plus N. So this was the formula we had already covered in our most important formula based lecture series. So if you had already watched that lecture, you must be in advantage to attempt this question very easily in your exam. So MA plus NB by M plus N was a simple formula to go ahead with for this particular question, where we know that there are the two classes X and Y who had the students 32 and 30, and the average of the first class, that is the X class, is 45, and average of second class, that is Y class, is 50, and we shall calculate average of both the class together, that is the average of X plus Y we shall calculate, and we shall here write that formula once again, average of both class, okay, by the formula MA plus NB by M plus N, wherein we note what are M, N, A and B. M is the first quantity they mention, that is, okay, that is they mention us. The M and N are the quantities. The quantities are respectively 32 and 30. Alright, and averages are respectively A and B. Alright, so M we have, that is 32. And its respective average we have and its respective average we have, that is A equal to 45. Then we have N, which is given to be 30, and its respective average B is given to be 50. So we shall substitute these values in the formula to get the average of combined class, right? So average is equals to 32 multiplied by A, that is 45, plus then we have 30 multiplied by B, that is 50, divided by M plus N, that is 32 plus 30. So we have this to be the product of first two terms, that is 1440, plus product of second two terms, 3 5s are 15, 1500, divide by addition we have 62. So this comes out to be 2940. The addition of numerators, divide by 62 you do, you're gonna get the approximate average, that is 47.42. I have round up the second place of decimal, there you will get 419 something, okay, by division. So you can reduce by 2's table and try to get the final answer, and this you come to, that is 47.42. Alright, so this was the average of both class calculated based upon the average of combined quantities formula. Alright, coming upon to the next question, and this was the question based upon the topic of simple and compound interest, and the the required formula I had discussed in my most important formula based lecture series for 2 years and 3 years. Whenever in a question you are known the difference between SI and CI, there definitely will be the question of finding either P and R and subsequent question. So this was a question fortunately to find the SI and CI. As mentioned by our fellow aspirant, this is a memory based question, okay, and the question was like as such, the difference between SI and CI is rupees 604, and the sum of amount is given at the rate of 25% for 3 years. This was the information. So that sum of amount is unknown. What is this? Actually, it's a principal amount which was given at the rate of 25% for 3 years of time period. And aspirants mentioned that might be the question was to find the SI and CI. Okay, this would have been also a question where you find, the sum of amount, the P only. So let me recall then important formula that I had discussed in my most important formula based lecture series, that when there is a difference of SI and CI is given for 3 years, then we had a formula. Formula was PR square into 300 plus R divided by 100 cube. Okay, so this was the formula when there is a time period of 3 years mentioned. Alright, so this we had discussed. So we're going to use this formula to calculate the unknown in this particular, because this is a formula of difference. Okay, wherein we already known the difference amount. What is that difference amount? It's 604, which is known to us. So in this, what is unknown first of all is P. And once you calculate that P, you can easily calculate either SI and CI. But prefer to calculate SI because it's simple to calculate. So calculate SI, and again using the same difference amount, you can easily calculate CI. Got the approach? So let's proceed then. So we have first of all this formula to employ here as discussed. So we have 604 equals to P into R square. See, R is 25. So 25 square I'll write here directly, 625. This is multiplied by 325 because the value of R is 25 there. Okay, this is divided by 100 cube. 100 into 100 into 100, let us write, so that we can reduce the numbers. So this 625, 25 square. So 25 fours are. Once again 25 1, 25 4. So we can divide this, right, by 25. 25 1. So 325 divided by 25 gonna result you there 13. Okay, and here 25 fours are. So we notice that the simplest form is P is equals to now 604 multiplied by 4 cube. 4 cube? 4 cube is 64, because in the denominator, see, there are 3 4s to multiply. This product is 64. So we take it in the numerator, and this should be divided by 13 we have. And this principal amount you can calculate, which comes out to be 2973.54. I have rounded up till the second place. You will obtain the decimal part as 538,462, so on. So you can check, I have rounded up till the second place. Alright. So this is the principle. But we had supposed to calculate the SI and CI. Then how do you approach? You shall calculate the SI first. SI formula you must know, I had discussed, it's PRT upon 100, wherein we know the principal now 2973.54, right? And we know the rate of interest 25, and we know the time period, that is 3 years. This is divided by 100. Okay, so this answer comes out to be 2230.15 around. So this is the SI. And to note the CI, you can take the help of difference, right? CI is always a greater, right? Because the formula CI, the compound interest, will be greater than the simple interest. So CI minus SI will be always the difference, because D is the difference amount. It's an amount, it can't be negative quantity, right? So CI will be what then? It will be difference plus SI. And difference is known to us, 604 rupees. This should be added with 2230.15 to have the final nearest answer to CI, right? So this CI will be around 2834.15. Okay, so these were the answer if the question suppose was to be to calculate CI and SI. Okay, so I hope that solutions so discussed for the questions which had appeared on 3rd of October 2020 in Afcat 2 2020 examinations are clear to you. If you still find there were the question not discussed by us, you can feel free to mention them in our comment section. And you have to stay tuned to SSBCrack exams, because we will come back with the another sessions wherein we discuss the numerical ability section based questions with the detailed solutions which had appeared on 4th of October and 5th of October as well. So stay tuned to SSBCrack exams. Meanwhile, you can check out our Afcat courses wherein we had covered the detailed content, as well as we had provided the mock test wherein the most of similar pattern questions were formulated and have come and appeared in Afcat 2 2020 examination. So you can do check our Afcat mock test series to have the proper thorough concern about the type of questions, the typical question that are appearing in Afcat written examinations. So all the best in your preparation. Please stay tuned to SSB Crack Exams.
Hello everyone, welcome back to SSB Crack Exams. I am Drishti and today I will be discussing the memory based questions of Afcat 2020 numerical ability section. Okay, and in this particular session we will particularly discuss the questions that came in the exam of 3rd October 2020 shift 2. Okay, so there were a lot of questions which were based directly on the formulas that we discussed in the lecture of our most important formulas of numerical ability section for Afcat. So if you have seen that particular lecture, you must be able to solve most of the questions as they were based on the direct formulas that we discussed in that particular lecture. So let's discuss all the questions one by one, and I will also let you know which were the formulas that you can use, that you should use directly to solve the question in very less time. Okay. So this is the question 1 and it states that Akash leaves Mumbai at 6 am and reaches Bangalore at 10 am. Similarly, Prakash leaves Bangalore at 8 am and reaches Mumbai at 11:30 am. So at what time do they cross each other, right? So they are traveling from Mumbai to Bangalore and from Bangalore to Mumbai, right? So Akash started his journey at 6 am. Right, and he reaches at 10 am, right, from Mumbai to Bangalore. Similarly, Prakash started his journey at 8 am and reaches his destination at 11:30 am, right, and he is traveling from Bangalore to Mumbai, right. Now we can see that Akash completed his journey in 4 hours while Prakash completed his journey in 3.5 hours, right? Now we have to find the time at which they'll cross each other, right? As they are traveling in the opposite directions. So here we can see Akash is traveling from Mumbai to Bangalore and Prakash is from Bangalore to Mumbai. So as we can see that Prakash started his journey at 8 am. So he started his journey 2 hours after Akash. Right, so at 8 am Akash must be here, right, because if Akash completed his journey in 4 hours, then in 2 hours he must have completed half of his journey. So at 8 am Akash must be here and Prakash must be here, right. Now we can take this point as the starting point for Akash, right. Now we have to find the time at which they'll cross each other. Okay, so they are traveling from, Akash is traveling from here to here and Prakash is from here to here, and the total distance now they have to cover is x by 2, right. So if we let the whole distance between Mumbai and Bangalore is x kilometers, then the distance, that is half of the distance, will be x by 2 kilometers, right. So now we know the direct formula. So the time at which they'll cross each other will be equals to total time, total distance between them. So if these are the positions of both Akash and Prakash, then total distance between them that they have to cover is x by 2. So it will be x by 2 divided by the relative speed. Now in this particular case, as they are moving in the opposite direction, then the relative speeds will be S1 plus S2, where S1 will be the speed of Akash and S2 will be the speed of Prakash, right. Now we can easily calculate the speed of Akash and Prakash. So if total distance between Mumbai and Bangalore is x kilometers and Akash is completing that journey in 4 hours, then speed of Akash, that is S1, will be equals to distance upon time, that is x by 4. Similarly, S2 will be x upon 3.5, right. Now we can put S1 and S2 in this given formula and we can directly find out our answer, right. So it will be t is equals to x by 2 divided by x upon 4 plus x upon 3.5, right? So it will be equals to, this x will cancel out with this x, okay, and it will be equals to 4 into 3.5 divided by 4 plus 3.5 into 2, right? So you can find it by taking the LCMs. So this 2 will cancel with this 4, and here it will be 2 into 3.5 divided by 7.5. So this will cancel out, and 5 sevens are 35 and 5 15s are 75. It will be equals to 14 by 15 hours, right? So to convert it in minutes, we can directly multiply it with 60. So here 14 by 50 into 60, that is 15 ones are 15, 15 fours are 60, and 14 fours are, it will be 56 minutes, right? So they started their journey at 8 a.m., right? This is the 8 a.m. when they started their journey, and they cross after 56 minutes. So the exact time at which they'll cross each other will be 8 hours and 56 minutes. That is 5:56 a.m. So this should be your answer for this question. Okay. Coming upon to next question, so it states that two trains traveling in opposite direction crosses a man in 17 seconds and 27 seconds respectively, and they cross each other in 23 seconds. So find the ratio of their speeds. Now this is the exact question that we have given in the mock 1. Right, we have launched the mock test series for Afcat before your Afcat 2020 examination, and that mock 1 was free for each and everybody. So in that particular mock, we have mentioned this same question with some different numericals, and if you have attempted that particular mock, so you would be able to solve this question very easily. Right, now I'll tell you how you should approach to solve this question. So it is given that two trains are crossing a man in 17 seconds and 27 seconds respectively. So firstly, we should know that if a train is crossing a man, then the formula for finding the time is given by t is equals to length of the train 1 divided by speed of the train. Okay, and here we can let the length of train 1 be L1 and train 2 be L2. Similarly, speed be S1 and S2. Okay, now by putting the values of time in this formula, we'll get 17 is equals to L1 by S1. This implies L1 is equals to 17 S1. Okay. Similarly, for the second train, this formula will be L2 by S2, and this time is again given, and it is 27 seconds. So 27 seconds is equals to L2 by S2. This implies L2 is equals to 27 S2, right? Now again one more thing is given in this question, and that is they cross each other in 23 seconds, right? So we can directly use the formula for finding the time when two trains traveling in opposite direction crosses each other. Okay, so this formula is given by t is equals to length of both the trains, that is sum of length of both the trains, that will be L1 plus L2 divided by the relative speed. So when they are traveling in opposite direction, that in that case relative speeds will be S1 plus S2, right? Now you can directly put the values of L1 and L2 from these two given equations. Okay, so it will be equals to, this time period is also given as 23. Okay, so it will be equals to 23 is equals to 17 S1 plus 27 S2 divided by S1 plus S2, right? So it will be 23 S1 plus 23 S2 is equals to 17 S1 plus 27 S2 by cross multiplying here, right? Now we can easily solve this or simplify this, as we have to find the ratios of their speed. That is, we have to find S1 by S2 here. Okay, so here S1 will be 23 S1 minus 17 S1. So it will be 6 S1. Similarly, in right hand side it will be 27 S2 minus 23 S2. That will be 4 S2. right? So here it will be S1 by S2 is equals to 4 by 6. So 2 by 3 we can directly cut it out. So it will be S1 ratio S2 is equals to 2 ratio 3, right? So answer for this question should be 2 ratio 3. That is, it should be the answer. Now coming upon to next question. So it states that ratio of speeds of bike, van and a lorry is given by 3 ratio 7 ratio 5. So if lorry covers 360 kilometers in 12 hours, find the average speeds of bike and van together. So here in this question, this ratio we are not sure about it is exact ratio or not, as this is a memory based question given by one of our students. Okay, so I am telling you the approach how you should solve the question. So firstly we are given that the speeds of bike, van and lorry are 3:7:5. So we can directly let speed of bike be 3x, van be 7x and lorry be 5x. Now again one more thing given is, if lorry covers 360 kilometers in 12 hours, so we have given the distance covered by lorry in 12 hours. So we can directly find the speed of the lorry. So speed of lorry will be given by distance upon time. So it will be 360 by 12. 12 3s are 36. So it will be 30 kilometers per hour and it is equals to 5x. Right? So here 5x is equals to 30. This implies x is equals to 6. Right? So by putting this x in the speeds of bike and van, we can easily find their speed also. So 3 6 are 18 and 7 6 are 42 kilometers per hour. Here also kilometers per hour. So speed of bike is 18 kilometers per hour and speed of van is 42 kilometers per hour. Now we have to find the average speed of bike and van. So if you have gone through the lecture of the important formulas of numerical ability of Afcat, you must know that if the speed of two vehicles is given, we can easily find their average speed by using the formula of average speed, which is given by 2xy upon x plus y, where x is the speed of first vehicle and y is the speed of second vehicle. So according to this formula, we can put 18 and 42 in this formula to find our answer. So it will be equals to, I am solving it here, it will be 2 into 18 into 42 divided by 18 plus 42, right? So it will be 2 into 18 into 42 divided by 60. Okay, so 2 ones are 2, 2 30s are 60, right? Similarly, 6 3s are 18 and 6 5s are 30. So it will be 3 2s are 6 and 12 divided by 5, or we can directly say it as 2.52, right, kilometers per hour. So average speeds of bike and van should be given by 25.2 kilometers per hour, but this is according to this given ratio. So if the given ratio in the question was different, then you can apply the same formula to find the correct answer. Okay. So I hope this must be clear to you, and you can see here that after applying the formula directly, you can solve this question in just 2 steps. Right, now coming upon to the next question. So the next question states that a seller has a 20% loss after selling an item at 1200 rupees. At what price should he sell it to get 5% profit? So we are given that a seller sell his item at 1200 rupees and faced a loss of 20%. So we have given the selling price as 1200 rupees and loss as 20%, right? So which means that 80% of CP. If we let CP be X, then 80% of CP is given to be 1200 because 20% is the loss. So we can directly find it, 80% of X is equals to 1200. So here x will be equals to 1200 into 100 divided by 80. So this cut out by this. Here 4 2s are 8 and 4 25s are 100. Similarly 2 1s are 2 and 2 6s are 12. So it will be, here this 0 is also there. So 25 into 60 will be 1500, right? So CP, that is the cost price of the item, is 1500. Now we have to find the selling price if we get the profit of 5%. So we have to calculate 105% of 1500. So 105% of 1500, it will be equals to 105 by 100 into 1500. So this 2 zeros cancels with this 2 0. So here 105 into 15, it will be 1575 rupees. Okay. So the seller should sell his item at a rupees of 1575 to get the profit of 5%. So I hope this question is also clear to you. Now coming upon to next question. So a sum invested at simple interest will be twice in 12 years. Find the rate of interest. So again, if you have seen the video of important formulas, you must know that there was a direct formula for this type of questions, and that formula is given by R is equals to 100 into n minus 1 divided by t%. So if a sum is becoming n times in t years, then the rate of interest is given by R, and we can directly solve it by this given formula. So according to this question, our t is equals to 12 and n is equals to 2, as the sum is getting twice of its original value. So now we can easily find the value of R by putting these values in this formula. So here R will be equals to 100 into 2 minus 1, that is 1 divided by 12, right, percent. Now 100 by 12 should be the direct answer, or you can also convert it in decimals. So it will be 2 5s are, it should be 4 25s are 100 and 4 3s are 12, and 25 by 3 should be equals to 8.33%. So this 8.33% should be your answer for the question. And you can see that if you have remembered this formula, you can directly solve this question in just one step, right? Now coming upon to our next question. So the next question is also based upon simple interest, and if a sum invested at simple interest gets thrice in 8 years, then after 20 years it will be. So again, this question is also a formula based question, and if you have directly remembered the formula, you can solve this question also in just 1 or 2 steps depending upon your solving skills. Okay, so again you should watch that video and should know the formula. I am also telling that formula here. So that formula is given by T2 by T1 is equals to m minus 1 upon n minus 1. So if the sum is getting n times in t1 years and m times in t2 years, then we can directly use this formula. So here we can see that a sum invested at simple interest gets thrice in 8 years. So here our n is 3 and t1 is 8 years, right? Similarly, we have to find after 20 years the sum will be. So 20 years, which means we have given with the T2, and we have to find the value of m in this question. Okay, now we will directly put the values in this formula to find the value of m here. Okay, so T2 is 20 years, T1 is 8 years, here m is unknown and n is 3, right? So 3 minus 1. Now we can easily solve it. So it will be 20 into 2 divided by 8 is equals to m minus 1. So here 2 1s are 2, 2 4s are 8, 4 5s are 20, and this implies m will be equals to 5 plus 1. So this implies m is equals to 6. So after 20 years the sum will be 6 times of its original value. That is 6 times should be the answer for this question. So now again you can see that by applying this formula directly you can solve this question within no time, right? Now coming upon to next question. So it states that ratio of the volumes of 3 containers is given by 3:4:5. Okay, so volumes of 3 containers is given in this ratio and all the 3 containers are full of a mixture. So they are full up to the mark of a mixture of milk and water, and the ratio of milk and water is given by 4:1, 3:1 and 3:2 in the 3 containers respectively. Again, if the liquid of all the 3 containers is poured in the 4th container, then find the ratio of milk and water, right? So here we have given the volumes of 3 containers and the ratio of milk and water in all the 3 containers separately. And if we are pouring whole liquid of the 3 containers in the 4th container, then we have to find the ratio of milk and water in the 4th container, right? So firstly we can let the ratios, we can let the volumes of the 3 containers as 3x, 4x and 5x respectively. Okay, now it is given that in the first container ratio of milk to water is given by 4:1. So if 4:1 is the ratio, this implies 4/5 of the volume of the container, that is 3x, is our milk in the first container, right? Similarly, if the second container contains 3:1 ratio of milk and water, then 3/4 of that volume of the container is our milk. So it will be into 4x. Again 3:2 is the ratio of milk and water in third container. So the amount of water in the third container will be 3/5 of the volume of the container, which is 5x, right? Now this is the total amount of milk in the fourth container. Similarly, we can take here ratio, as we have to find the ratios of the milk and water and directly put the amount of water here. So if 4/5 of the container is milk, then 1/5 of the volume is water plus 1/4 of volume of the second container is again water, and for the third container it will be 2/5. So 2/5 into 5x will be our volume of water or the amount of water in the third container, right? Now we have to solve these two sides in order to find our ratio. So firstly we can cut out this x from from both the sides, right? Now here we can see 4 3s are 12 divided by 5 plus this 4 cancels this 4, this 5 cancels this 5, again this 4 cancels this 4 and this 5 cancels this 5. So here 3 plus 3, which will be equals to 6, equals to 3/5 here. So it will be 3/5 plus this 1 plus this 2. So it will be 3. Now we can take the LCM. So it will be 12 plus 30. 5 6 are 30 is equals to 3 plus 15, and this 5 will cancel from the denominator. So this will be equals to 42:18, and we can, here is also ratio here, right? So this will be equals to 6 7s are 42 and 6 3s are 18. So the required ratio will be 7:3. That is the ratio of milk and water in the fourth container. So now I hope this question is clear to you. Now moving upon to our next question. So next question states that a boy goes from his house to school at 3 kilometers per hour and return at 2 kilometers per hour. If he takes 5 hours in the whole journey, find the distance between school and his house. So he is traveling from the school and his house, right? So when he is going from house to school, he is traveling at 3 kilometers per hour, and in the return, when he is returning back to the home, he is traveling at 2 kilometers per hour and he is covering this whole journey in 5 hours. Now we have to find the distance between his school and his house. Okay, so firstly we'll let the distance be x kilometers. Then we are given that the time taken by him in whole journey is 5 hours. So when he is going from house to the school, that time his time will be total time taken by the boy in traveling from house to school will be distance upon speed. So that will be x by 3 plus the time for the return journey will be equals to x by 2 as he is traveling the same distance in the return journey also, and this whole time is given to be 5 hours, right? Now we can easily take the LCMs and solve this out, as this is the easiest question for the calculation part. So it will be 2x plus 3x divided by 6 is equals to 5. This implies 5x is equals to 5 into 6. This 5 cancels this 5, so x is equals to 6. So we were required to find the distance between school and the house, and we let it to be x kilometers. So here the distance is 6 kilometers. So answer for this question should be 6, right? Now coming upon to the next question. So next question states that if 60% of total donation required by school was collected when 50% of parents donated an average of 1200 rupees. Now find the average amount that should be donated by the rest of 50% parents so that the school has whole amount that was required, right? So this question is again based upon the average part. Now firstly we can let the total number of parents, so total parents be 100, okay, because by letting it to be 100, this will make our calculation very easy and we will finally get the answer, okay. So it is given that 50% parents are donating 1200 rupees. So directly we can apply the formula of average, and average is given by sum upon may, total number of people. So here average amount is given to be 1200. This sum is unknown to us, and the total parents, so 50% of 100 will be 50. Total parents which are donating are 50 here. So this sum S will be equals to 1200 into 50. So 12 5s are 60 and here 3 zeros, right? So this is the amount which is donated by 50% of the parents, that is 60,000. Now we firstly will find the total amount required by the school, as this amount is given by only 60%. So 60% of total amount is 60,000, right? Now we are given that if 60% of x, that x should be the total amount required by the school, is 60,000, then x will be equals to 60,000 divided by 60 into 100. So it will be 1000. So the total amount required by the school is 1 lakh, right? So the total amount required by the school is 1 lakh, and out of this 1 lakh, 60,000 has already been donated by 50% of the parents. So the amount required by school now will be 1 lakh minus 60,000, which will be 40,000, right? Now this 40,000 rupees should be donated by rest 50% of the people. So we have to find the average. Now average will be sum upon total number of people. So sum is 40,000 and the total number of people who will donate are the rest 50%, and that 50% of 100 is again 50. So it will be divided by 50. So this 0 cancel this 0. 5 ones are 5, 5 8s are 40 and 2 zeros. So it will be rupees 800. So the average amount that should be donated by rest 50% of the parents should be 800 rupees, and this should be our final answer. Okay. Now coming upon to next question. So it states that a room was rented and the rent of odd day was rupees 1000 and that of even day was rupees 2000. Okay, and if the room was rented on an even day, so it can be rented on some second of some month or fourth of some month, so it was rented on an even day and the total amount was rupees 30,000 that the tenant has to pay, right? Then find the total duration of for which room was rented. Okay, so if a person take the room for 2x days, let us suppose, right? Because that 2x will contain x odd days and x even days, right? And for that 2x days, he paid rupees 30,000 to the owner. Okay, and now we have to find the value of this 2x, that is the total duration for which he stayed in that room, right? So we know that for even days the amount is 20,000. So 20,000 x plus for odd days it will be 1000. So 1000 x is equals to total amount, that is 30,000. Now 3000 x is equals to 30,000. This implies x will be 30,000 by 3000. So it will be 10. So we have got x is equals to 10. Then 2x will be 2 into 10 is equals to 20 days, right? So that person stayed in that particular room for 20 days, for which give the amount of rupees 30,000, right? So 20 days should be the answer for this particular question. Okay. Now coming upon to the next question. So next question states that the ratio of male to female in a city is 3:7. The children percentage among male and female is 25% and 30% respectively. So if the number of adults male in the city is 18,000, find the population of city. So we are given the ratio of male and female in the city as 3:7. So firstly we can let the population of male to be 3x and the female population to be 7x. So this implies your total population will be 3x plus 7x, that will be 10x, right? That will be useful for us in the later part of this question. Now we are given that among the total population 25% males and 30% females are children. Okay, so 25% of 3x are children. So this implies 75% of 3x will be adult and that adult population of males is given to be 18,000. So it will be equals to 18,000, right? So from here we can easily calculate this x and in the end we have to find the population of the city, that will be equals to our 10x. So firstly let's solve the value of x here. So it will be 75 divided by 100 into 3x is equals to 18,000, right? So 25 3s are 75 and 25 4s are 100. This implies x is equals to 18,000 divided by 3 3s are 9 multiplied by 4 by cross multiplication. So here 9 1s are 9, 9 2s are 18, right? So it will be 2000 into 4. That will be equals to 8,000, right? Now we have to find the total population. So total population is 10x. So it will be 10 into 8,000. It will be 80,000. So the total population of the city is 80,000. That is 80,000 should be the answer. So these were the questions that we have got from our students from the 3rd October second shift of your Afcat 2020 paper 2 examination. So now you can see that there were direct formula based questions from the lecture which we have covered on the important formulas of numerical ability section. Also there were some conceptual based questions which we have covered in our courses. So if you are preparing for your upcoming Afcat exam, you can always download our learning app and enroll to our courses for your better preparation. Also, for more such useful and interesting sessions, stay tuned to SSB Crack Exams. Jai Hind.
Hello everyone, welcome to SSBCrackExams. I'm Anuradha and I am back in this session with the Afcat 2020 Verbal Ability, that is English section Q&A. So these questions that I'm going to discuss in this session have been taken from the first day of the Afcat 2020 exam itself, and these questions are purely based on the memories of the students who have commented these questions on our social media platforms. The number of questions that came from verbal ability or English section in Afcat 2020 exam were 25 in number, and the questions that came from the verbal ability section came from the different topics like antonyms, synonyms, idioms and phrases, comprehension, fill in the blanks, close tests, etc. In this session, I'm going to discuss some of the questions that the students have commented in our social media platforms that they have been able to remember. So these questions will be completely memory based questions. So not many questions will be discussed in this verbal ability section Q&A of AFCA 2020 exam. But if you can remember any other questions, you can comment them in the comment box below and I will conduct a session based on those questions. So I will first begin with a question, that is the meaning or synonym of affluent. Now this question I have already discussed in my course lecture on synonyms and antonyms. And the meaning of affluent is rich or wealthy. So this is the meaning of affluent. The next question which came on AFCAT 2020 exam on its first day was the meaning or synonym of pilfer. Pilfer means to steal or to rob. The next question is to find out the opposite, that is the antonym of the word mitigate. Now the answer will be aggravate or increase or intensify, because mitigate means to make something which is bad less severe, less serious or less painful. That means to reduce. Mitigate means to reduce or to lessen. So the opposite of mitigate is obviously to increase or to aggravate or to intensify. The next question is opposite or antonym of luscious. Now luscious itself means delicious or tasty, and this word is used as an adjective to describe the taste of a food or a drink which is tasty or which is delicious. So obviously the opposite or the antonym of luscious is something which is not tasty or not delicious. In other words, something which is unappetizing. So unappetizing will be your answer. The next question was the antonym or the opposite of vanquish. Vanquish means to conquer or to overcome, or in other words, to subdue something or someone by conquering that person or thing. So the antonym or the opposite of vanquish means to succumb or to yield. So someone who gives up, to succumb or to yield is the opposite or antonym of vanquish, right? The next question that came on the first day of AFCAT 2020 exam was to find out the antonym or the opposite of vicious. Vicious means cruel or brutal or ruthless. The opposite of vicious therefore is gentle or kindly or benevolent. So this will be your answer. The next question which came was to find out the meaning of an idiom or phrase, and the idiomatic phrase was to fly off the handle. So this question again I already discussed in my course lecture, and those of the students who have already taken our mock test AFCAT mock test series have already got this question, I am sure. And the answer for this question is to lose one's temper suddenly and unexpectedly. And let me tell you the idiom origin for this phrase. This is basically an American phrase, and it alludes to the uncontrolled way a loose axe head flies off from its handle. So when an axe is there, say for example, if you consider this to be an axe, so if the axe head means this part of the axe flies off, if it gets loose from its handle, so this is the handle basically, and this is the axe head. And if the axe head gets loose, then it can easily fly off from the handle if you're using this axe to strike something, right? So the way it gets, flied away, or if it flies away from its handle if it's loose, that is known as to fly off the handle. So this is basically the origin for this idiomatic phrase, and this phrase is applied to someone who loses his temper suddenly and unexpectedly. Synonym and antonym of debacle. Now you may be wondering why I have taken synonym and antonym of debacle, of this word debacle, because synonyms and antonyms do not come together for one word in Afcat examination. Well, some students commented that synonym of debacle came, while others commented that antonym of debacle came. Whatever it may be, I have taken both the synonyms and antonyms of the word, right? So let's begin. So the synonym of debacle is failure or catastrophe or disaster, while the antonym will be just its opposite. That means the opposite of failure will be success, or the opposite of any kind of disaster or catastrophe will be victory or accomplishment. So the meaning of debacle is a failure or a catastrophe or a disaster, and the opposite of debacle is victory or accomplishment or success. Now, I have already given you this word in the Afcat mock test 7. So those of you who have already subscribed to our Afcat course and who have already taken the Afcat mock test series has found it quite easy for them to attend Afcat 2 2020 exam, because this word was mentioned in the Afcat mock test 7, right? So here you go. The next question is synonym and antonym of allure. So again, there was a confusion with whether the synonym or the antonym came for this word, so I have taken both. The synonym or the meaning of allure is to attract or to tempt or to seduce, right? And the antonym or the opposite of allure is a repel, the noun is repulsion, or disgust. So something which doesn't attract, which doesn't seduce, which doesn't tempt will be a kind of repulsion. That thing will repel you or disgust you, right? The next question, synonym of mystique. Now, the meaning of the word mystique means mystery, spell, or charm. So you can well guess from the word itself, mystique and mystery are more or less the same. So from the word mystique, if you look into it, mystique, and it will be sounding the same with mystery, right? So mystique means mystery, spell, or charm. The next question, synonym of equivocal. If something is equivocal, it means that the thing is not clear or the thing is vague. In other words, you can either take the word vague as its synonym or ambiguous or obscure. All of these mean the same. The next question, synonym and antonym of subjugate. To subjugate someone means to be victorious or to conquer that particular person or thing. So the synonym of subjugate is conquer or defeat or overcome, while the opposite or the antonym of subjugate means to liberate. So if you're conquering someone, the opposite will be you're liberating that person. That person is not under your subjugation. So if you have heard of the word subjugation, so subjugation is a noun and subjugate is a verb, right? The next question, meaning, that is the synonym of fad. Something which is in fad means something which is in trend. That means craze, vogue, trend, or fashion. Something is in fashion. The next question is the meaning of the idiom, an axe to grind. Now those of you again who have subscribed to a course and who have gone through the practice exercises of the idioms and phrases section in our Afcat course will know this very idiom. They will be able to recognize this idiom. It was there in the practice exercise 2 of idioms and phrases section in Afcat English course, right? And this idiom in axe to grind means to have a strong personal opinion about something that you want people to accept, and that is the reason why you do something. In other words, in a very short way, you can say an axe to grind means you have a personal motive to do something. Okay, specifically to take revenge. So this idiom origin is important. This will give you an idea of an axe to grind, where this idiom has come from. The phrase probably originates from the act of sharpening an axe with a grinding wheel, with the intent, that is the purpose, to get revenge on someone by maiming or killing them. Right? So that is why an axe to grind actually means to have a very selfish or a personal motive to do something, especially to take revenge on someone, right? For something. So I hope that you have got an idea of the answers. Those of you who have already taken the Afcat 2 2020 exam on its first day itself, and those who have attended the questions in the English or the verbal ability section of Afcat 2 2020 exam, must have attempted these questions and must have got the answers by now. So whatever questions that have not been discussed in this section, you can obviously comment about them in the comment box below that I have already told you, and I will help you to solve those questions. I'm here to help you out with the answer keys. I'll give you the answers obviously, so please don't forget to comment any more questions that you can remember from the Afcat 2020 exam, for those of you who have already taken the exam today. So I wish all the best for those of you who are going to take the Afcat 2020 exam tomorrow and day after tomorrow. Please go through our section, our mock test. Let me tell you, those who have already subscribed to our course have already taken the Afcat mock test series that we have exclusively designed for the Afcat aspirants. And those of you who have already gone through our full content lectures, our PDF study materials, our quizzes, practice exercises, and much more, are finding it common. The questions that have come for the Afcat 2020 exam on its first day have found the questions quite common because they have already gone through those questions during their practice or during their study or during their taking the mock test. So please don't feel left behind. Take our Afcat mock test. For that, you can log on to our website SSBCrackExams.com, or you can simply download our mobile app from the Google Play Store. So all the best for those of the aspirants who are going to take the Afcat 2020 exam tomorrow and day after tomorrow. You can consult our courses and you can also take the Afcat mock test. That will be very helpful for you because most of the questions that we have devised or included in the Afcat mock test series are coming common in the Afcat 2020 exam. So stay motivated, stay confident. All the best for your exam. Till then, Jai Hind.
Hello everyone, welcome back to SSB Crack Exams. I am Sakshi, and in this session we are going to discuss the very latest Afcat 2 2020 paper, and we are going to solve all the questions which were there in the very recent Afcat 2 2020 from the journal awareness section. So if you have given this examination, you can check how many questions you have answered correctly and you can easily analyze your performance. So as you know, Afcat is an online examination and it helps through online mode. So we have the memory based questions. We have tried to cover almost all the questions from the journal awareness section. Stay tuned till the end to know answers of each and every question right here. So let's start with the first question. So the first question is, who is known as Napoleon of India? Who is known as Napoleon of India? So the correct answer for this is Samudragupta. Samudragupta is the one who is known as Indian Napoleon of India. He was from Gupta dynasty and he was the great player of Veena as well. Samudragupta ruled from 335 to 380 AD and he was known as the Napoleon of India. This question is from the history portion. Let's move ahead. Next question is, Chris Evert name is associated with which sports? In this question they are asking, Chris Evert was associated with which game? So the correct answer is tennis. She was a tennis player and she's a retired American world #1 tennis player. She won 18 Grand Slam singles championships and 3 double titles. Okay, so she was a tennis player. Next question is, who is the first batsman to hit 6 sixes in an over in a T20 international? Very favorite question of yours. The correct answer is Yuvraj Singh. Yuvraj Singh on September 19, 2007, he scored 6 sixes in an over in a T20
T20 International. During a match between England and India, he scored this. And then he became the first batsman to hit the 6 sixes in an over in a T20 International. Next question is, which Indian leader was popularly known as Punjab Keshari or Shere Punjab? So, if you have seen our video in our previous session, we have covered the important personalities and their nicknames. We have covered this as well. So, the correct answer is Lala Lajpat Rai. Lala Lajpat Rai ji, he was popularly known as Punjab Keshari, and he was a prominent nationalist leader who played an important role in India's freedom struggle. As we all know, he was associated with many freedom struggle related activities and played major key role in the activities surrounding the setting up of PNB, which is very famous bank today. PNB, which is a major PSU bank even now, Punjab National Bank, and that is how he is known as Punjab Kesari. Next question is, who is called as father of German unity? I know in your head Ottoman Bismarck will be coming, but that was not even the option. So the correct answer is Helmut Kohl. He was the one who is known as the father of German unity, or you can say reunification. He oversaw the end of Cold War and also the German reunification, for which he is generally known as the Chancellor of Unity or father of German reunification. Next question, Vienna is the capital of which country? So we have also covered this in the country's capital and currency series. If you have seen those sessions, your answer would be correct. So Vienna is the capital of Austria. Vienna is the national capital of Austria and the largest city and one of the 9 states of Austria. Next question is, in which city was the United Nations organization was created? This is a very tricky question. They are not asking you the headquarter of UN. They are asking in which city United Nations organization was created. So the city was San Francisco. UN came into existence in 1945 with 50 countries, and they met in San Francisco for a conference to draw a United Nations Charter. Next question was, the term bully is connected to which sport? The term bully is connected with which sport? So the correct answer is bully is associated with hockey. It is basically associated and related with field hockey, and it refers to the set play that is used to restart the game, similar to the drop ball in the soccer, from where the infringement took place. 2 opposing players stand facing each other and tap each other's stick and the ground 3 times. All the other player must be at least 16 feet away until the ball goes into the play. So the correct answer is hockey. Next question was, who is the author of Ain-e-Akbari? Who is the author of Ain-e-Akbari? Very repetitive question in the examinations. So the correct answer is Abul Fazl. Abul Fazl was the one who is the author of Ain-e-Akbari and also Akbarnama. Ain-e-Akbari, it is a 16th century document written by Akbar's court historian, and Abul Fazl was the court historian of Akbar, and he wrote Ain-e-Akbari in the Persian language. And this particular book, it deals with the administration of Mughal Emperor Akbar. Next question was, who is the writer of Das Kapital? Again, very easy and very direct question. So the correct answer is Karl Marx. Das Kapital, it is written by Karl Marx in 19th century. Karl Marx was a German philosopher, economist, and this particular Das Kapital, it is a description of how the capitalist system works and how Marx claims that it is going to destroy itself. The next question was from the geography portion, and the question was, where is the Hawaii located in the world? This is a mapping question, you can say. The Hawaii is located in the Pacific Ocean. It is located here in the Pacific Ocean. You can see here in the image. Hawaii, it is a part of United States. It is a chain of island located about 3,200 kilometers from the continental United States, and it is out in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. Next question was, which of the following is the lightest gas? Which of the following is the lightest gas? Journal Sciences question. So the correct answer is hydrogen. Hydrogen was the option, and hydrogen is the correct answer. Although hydrogen and helium, both are the 2 lightest gases. The weight is so little that they are able to float in the atmosphere, and hydrogen is the diatomic gas and helium is a monatomic gas. Both hydrogen and helium are the lighter gases. and both are the lighter than the air. Next question is, the first oil well in India was dug at. So this is again a very direct question. If you have seen our session in our courses, we have discussed all the important sites and we have covered everything related to this. So the correct answer is Digboi. Digboi is the oldest oil well in India. The first oil well in India was dug at Digboi. It is in Assam. The crude oil was discovered here in the late 19th century. It is known as the oil city of Assam, where the first oil well in Asia was drilled. The first refinery was started here as early as in 1901, and it has the oldest oil well in operation. Next question was from again geography, and the question was, equator doesn't pass through which continent? So from which continent equator doesn't pass? Africa, South America, Asia, Australia. So it doesn't pass through Australia. You can see here in the map, okay? Equator passes through Asia. This is a part of Southeastern Asia. South America, of course, it passes through South America, and Africa, it also passes through Africa, but not Australia, okay? So the correct answer will be Australia. Next question is, in which layer of the atmosphere do Aurora Borealis appear? So the correct answer is ionosphere. Ionosphere is the one. In ionosphere, charged particles are affected by magnetic fields of the both Earth and the Sun, and this is where the auroras happens. Next question is, CTPS, thermal power plant, is located in which city? CTPS, if you know the full form of this, you can easily answer this question. So it is located in Chandrapura. So CTPS stands for Chandrapura Thermal Power Station. It is a thermal power plant located in Chandrapura town, which is in Jharkhand state. Next question is, separation of judiciary from the executive is enjoyed by. This is a question from the polity section. So separation of judiciary from the executive is enjoined by directive principles of state policy. So Article 50 of the Constitution of India is a directive principle of state policy. It gives a direction to the state to keep judiciary independent of the executive, particularly in the judicial appointments. So this is the article where you will see the separation of the judiciary from the executive. Next question. First Afro-Asian Games held in Hyderabad played in which year? First Afro-Asian Games. So they were played in 2003. The first Afro-Asian Games were the intercontinental multi-sport competition held between athletes from Asia and Africa, and the event was held only once in the year 2003. Next question is, the term chucker is used in which game? So you can see the questions from the sports. There are many questions from the sports section. So the correct answer is, the chucker term is associated with the polo game. Okay, polo game. First SAARC Gold Championship held in which country? So the correct answer is Pakistan. First ever SAARC Gold Championship was held in Pakistan in 1993. And you know, SAARC stands for South Asian Association for Regional Cooperation. And this was the South Asian Football Federation Cup held in Lahore, Pakistan. Now the next question is, at which place will you find maximum sunlight in December? Leh, Pune, Kanyakumari. Kanyakumari is the nearest to the Tropic of Capricorn, and the sun rays falls vertically here during the month of December. So the correct answer will be Kanyakumari. Next question is, AWACS warning system was equipped with which aircraft? MiG-21, Sukhoi 30, IL-76 or EJS? So the correct answer for this is IL-76. So airborne warning and control system is mounted on Russian Ilyushin-76 heavy lift aircraft. So the correct answer will be C. Okay. Next question is, which of the following forts were not built by Akbar? Gwalior Fort, Agra Fort, Lahore Fort, Allahabad Fort. So the correct answer is Gwalior Fort was not built by Akbar. Apart from this, Agra, Lahore and Allahabad Fort, Akbar built these forts, and the Gwalior Fort was built by Raja Man Singh Tomar. And Raja Man Singh Tomar, he built this fort in 8th century, and it consists of one defensive structure and two main places, Gujrat Mahal and Man Mandir, very famous. Okay. Next question is, who was the author of Kitab-ul-Hind? Who was the author of Kitab-ul-Hind? So the correct answer is Al-Biruni. He was the author of Kitab-ul-Hind and it was written in Arabic language. Next question, where Gondwana hills were placed? Again, a question from geography. So Gondwana hill, they are placed in Madhya Pradesh, but not only Madhya Pradesh. The area is not just limited to Madhya Pradesh, rather they are spread over the region of Telangana, Andhra Pradesh, Maharashtra. Gondwana hills, they are named after Gond dynasty, which was ruled by during the era of Mughals. Okay. Next question is, pygmy manometer is used for. So the correct answer is, it is used for blood pressure and they are used for monitoring the vital signs, specifically blood pressure, heart rate, rhythm, heart sounds and breath sounds. You must have seen these, right? So guys, this is it about the journal awareness section of Afcat 2 2020. We have discussed almost all the questions which are there and which were asked in your examination. These questions were based on memory. These were memory based questions. So I hope you got the idea how many questions you answered correctly and how many you have answered wrong. So there was nothing that we haven't covered in our session, in our courses. If you're interested in Afcat courses, you can always download the mobile app SSBCrackExams. There you will find the entire package relating to the Afcat courses, mock tests, quizzes, study materials, everything that you need to clear your examination. Go to the Google Play Store, download the mobile app SSBCrackExams and start preparing for the same. I'll see you in the next session with more important updates and informations. Till then, stay motivated, stay healthy, all the very best. Jai Hind. Hello everyone, welcome back to SSBCrackExams. This is Sakshi and I'm here back again with your Afcat 2 2020 paper. These will be the questions from the journal awareness section that were asked in your Afcat 2 2020 from shift to 3rd October. These are the questions taken from your 3rd October paper from the shift 2. So as these questions are the memory based questions, so we have tried to cover all the questions that were asked. So let's start with the question. First question was, what are basketball players called? What are basketball players called? Cagers, pugilists, paddlers, shuttlers. So they are called cagers because basketball player, they used to be called cagers because basketball used to be played in the cages. Okay. Next question is, Leander Pace is associated to which sports? So the correct answer is tennis. He's a tennis player. He's an Indian tennis player who was one of the most successful double players in the tennis history with 8 careers Grand Slam doubles titles and 10 career Grand Slam mixed double championship. Next question is, India's first aircraft carrier was? So the correct answer is INS Vikrant. INS Vikrant is the first. So Indian Navy's first aircraft carrier was commissioned as INS Vikrant on 4th March 1961. So this is the correct answer for this. Next question was, double fault term is associated with which sport? So again the question was from the sports section. Okay. So the correct answer is tennis. It is associated with tennis. Double fault is associated with tennis. Double fault, it refers to the 2 consecutive faults during the service. Now, moving ahead, next question, which country hosted first Commonwealth game? Again, very easy question, very direct question. So the answer will be Canada. Canada was the country where the first Commonwealth game held. That is the first British Empire Games. Later, it was known as the Commonwealth game. They were held in Hamilton, Canada. Next question, Asian Games started in which year? So Asian Games started in the year 1951. Okay, Asian Games started in 1951. Officially, they were known as first Asian Games and was a multi-sport event which was celebrated in New Delhi, India. They were held in India and they held from 4th to 11th March 1951. Next question is, who is the author of Gulliver Travels? So the correct answer for this will be Jonathan Swift. He was the author of this book and it is also known as Travels into Several Remote Nations of the World. Next question, who is known as Wizard of Hockey? Again, a question from sports. So the correct answer is Wizard of Hockey is Dhyan Chandra ji. He is also known as Magician of Hockey for his superb ball control. Dhyan Chand, he played internationally from 19 26 to 1949, and he scored 570 goals in 185 matches according to his autobiography. So the correct answer will be Dhyan Chand. Okay. Next question. This question is from the geography. Which longitude is known as international dateline? So let me tell you that SSB Crack Exams has provided everything related to these things, be it the courses of geography, everything is covered in our lessons. So the question is, which longitude is known as international dateline? So the answer is 180 degrees. 180 degrees is the longitude which is known as international dateline. So it was established in the year 1884. It passes through the mid-Pacific Ocean, roughly through 180 degrees longitude, north-south line on the earth. It is located halfway around the world from the prime meridian. The 0-degree longitude established in the Greenwich, England in 1882. So the correct answer will be 180 degrees. Okay, we have covered everything. Next question is, who among the following belong to the slave dynasty? So the answer is from the history portion. If you have attended the mock test of Afcat that we have provided, you must have seen this question. Almost 90% of the questions, they were directly from our mock test. So the correct answer for this is Iltutmish. Iltutmish he is also known as Shams al-Din. Iltutmish, he was the third greatest Delhi Sultan of the so-called slave dynasty. So there were some options in this question. So the correct option was Iltutmish. He was from the slave dynasty. Next question is, Lord Mountbatten was the Viceroy of India till which year? In this question, they were asking the tenure of Lord Mountbatten. So the correct answer is 1947. Okay. He was the last, you can say, Viceroy of India, and he became the Governor General and oversaw the transition from of the British India to independence. So Lord Mountbatten was the correct answer. Next question was also similar. Who was the Governor General of independent India? So the correct answer is Chakravarti Rajagopalachari ji. He was the Governor General of independent India. But as you know, these are the memory based questions. So the question can be like, who was the last Governor General of pre-independent India? So the answer will be Lord Mountbatten. But when we talk about who was the Governor General of independent India and who was the Indian Governor General of independent India, so the correct answer will be Chakravarti Rajagopalachari. Next question is, what is the capital of Lithuania? So the correct answer is Vilnius. It is the capital of Lithuania and the largest city of Lithuania. Okay, so the correct answer is this. So the next question is, Namibia was earlier name of Namibia. So the correct answer is Southwest Africa. Officially, Republic of Namibia was called internationally until 1968 as Southwest Africa. You can see the location. It is located in Southwest Africa, and that is why, and that is how it got the names. Next question is, which is the finest quality of iron ore? So the answer is magnetite. It is the finest iron ore with a high quality content of iron ore up to 70%, and it has excellent magnetic qualities, especially the valuable in the electrical industry. So the correct answer is this one. Now the next question, what does Bofort scale measures? Okay, so it measures the wind speed of the wind. So the correct answer will be this, and it is an empirical measure that relates wind speed to the observed conditions at the sea and or the land. Now the next question is, who constructed the rock garden? So the correct answer is Rock Garden of Chandigarh. It was constructed by Nek Chand. Nek Chand's rock garden, which he conceived and built on the bank of seasonal rivulet on the northeast edge of Chandigarh. Okay, answer is Nek Chand. Next question is, which river flows towards northern India? So the correct answer is Chambal. You can see here, this is the map of Madhya Pradesh. Here you can see this is the river. This is Chambal River. It flows toward northeast direction through Madhya Pradesh, and it is running for a time through Rajasthan and forming the boundary between Rajasthan and Madhya Pradesh here. So also there is one more river, River Narmada. Okay, it also flows north, but in the question there was no option of River Narmada. Next question is, what was the main source of income for the Mauryan Empire? So the correct answer will be land revenue. Land revenue is the correct source of income for the Mauryan Empire. The Mauryans, they maintained a huge standing army. The state taxes, they were insufficient to maintain such huge army, and so they started to regulate certain economic activities to generate more money, to generate more revenue. So the main source of income that time was land revenue. They used to get the money from land revenue. Next question is, where is the headquarter of ISRO TTCN? So the headquarter is in Bangalore. So Indian Space Organization, over the years, it has established a comprehensive global network of ground station to provide telemetry, tracking and command, TTC, to support the satellite and launch the vehicle missions. So this is, the headquarter is in Bangalore. So these were the questions, guys. I can assure you 90% of the questions, they were there from our mock test, and there was nothing which was not covered from our sessions, from our courses and from our study materials. So if you're preparing for Afcat examinations, I will suggest you please go to the Google Play Store, download the mobile app SSBCrackExams and start preparing for your Afcat examination. We have courses, mock tests, quizzes and everything what you need to clear your examination. So guys, this is it. I'll see you in the next session with question of the other sessions as well. Stay tuned, stay healthy. Jai Hind.